days I've been misled. Rocks was my pillow, stones was my bed. And now after all, my heart traveling thinks it's about coming my way. Alright, that was the introduction and the first verse of a song called Things About Coming My Way. It's a Tampa Red recording, and I played also a bit in style of Mike Dowling. Check those names out. And we're in open D tuning, but I'm tuned a half step higher. So this is my D sharp. The C, and the fifth string, and the third string remains a G. I tapped out the introduction and the first verse, what I just played, and you can download that for free at my website. There's a link there below in the video description. Also, if you want to hear the full performance, which has 3 guitar solos and I think 4 more verses, there's a link to the performance video as well. You can also get the tablature of the complete song and lessons for that. More info also in the video description, how to get that. Now on the tab there are a few signs that I've used. First of all, it's a shuffle, and so the feeling is more as a swing feel. And you also see some letters T, like that, in the tab. It means that that note should be played, well, with the right hand thumb. I will explain that later. Also, this song is a great mix of slide and fingering, and sometimes I've indicated when there is a little doubt where to use the slide. And that is indicated, or well, not to use the slide, that is indicated by NS, no slide. Then there are signs for sliding up or sliding down, like that. And if you see a sign like that, a triangular sign above a note, it means cut that note short like this. The note on the 7th fret is cut short, and I simply place my picking finger on the string to cut the sound. And then of course you have the arrow, which is a bend. Alright, so I'm gonna adjust the camera, so I'll come back. So here's the introduction again, nice and slow. The first note starts on the second part of the 4th beat, so you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and on the N we'll start with that. So we're starting at the 12th fret, and if you do a vibrato on the 12th fret, you better stay below the 12th fret, because if you go over the 12th fret, sharp note which is out of tune, you will hear a sharp note out of tune very faster than a note that is flat and out of tune, you could say that. But if you do a vibrato, you can get away with it if you play it low. Also, it sounds a bit more bluesier if you're just below the 12th fret. This is really on the 12th fret. You can hear the difference. So, and then we slide to the 7th fret and play an open string, and then we go up 4, 5, 6, 7, and those notes are really cut short by the picking finger resting it on the string after you picked it. But you attack every note from below. And 4, 4 and open. Sorry, and then you have that kind of A chord. And then we have a turnaround where the bass goes down and the 3rd string goes up. Of course, you can play a lot of variations here by simply changing the right hand picking. Now we pinch together, and then we slide, and that is a slide, no bottleneck used, where we use the middle finger to the 6th string 4th fret. Another thing which I forgot to explain, why I'm using the bottleneck on the 3rd finger. I think, well, it's not the only position, of course, and you're free to do whatever you please. And do whatever works for you, that's also important, but this works for me, and I'll tell you why. I rest my pinky and my 2nd finger on the slide, and this gives me a nice balance. I also like, especially in this song, and if you listen to the original like Temperate, he has a very clean sound, so he must have been dragging his finger over the strings to cut out unwanted sounds. I'll give you an example. If you don't do that, you get this. And now with muting, so the index finger touches the string slightly. So it's much more cleaner. So whatever you prefer, of course. I also keep my thumb on the back of the neck at all times, and it gives me a nice resting point to do my vibrato, which I try to do with my whole arm and not just the wrist, which gives you a very nervous vibrato. So we were at the end of the last bar of the introduction. So we had, and this well, these last bar, these moves come back in the whole song. So we have that pinch, and there twice the temp, that A chord, which is 1st finger on the 3rd string 1st fret, 2nd finger on the 4th string 2nd fret, and then we pinch, and that pinch of the 3rd bar is cut short, and I strike up with my 2 fingers, index finger, 1 for each string, 1 for the 2nd string, 1 for the 3rd string. And then I hit down very softly with my nails. And I pick the open 3rd string with the index finger and the thumb for the 4th string. And you'll see a lot of notes will be between brackets. And I mean by that, you have to play them, but softly. They are not melody notes, so play them understated. Okay, then we go to the 1st verse, and I'll play the first couple bars. And I'm using my pinky for the 1st string, 3rd fret, and my 2 other fingers for the 2nd and the 3rd fret. So 2nd and 3rd string on the 3rd fret. And the reason why I'm doing this, because later we're going to have to play that 2nd fret 1st string, and it's an easy move to that. I'll do that, demonstrate that without the slide. Like that. And also there are in the 1st bar, the 3rd and 4th beat, you hear very softly. And again, that triplet. I use a lot of triplets to go from one chord to another, because otherwise it can be so boring. 1, 2, 3, 4, then the next chord, 1, 2, 3, and so I do. So that gives you some movement in the bass as well. So those first 2 bars, we did those. Note again that mute with the right hand fingers. when you play that 7th. Also that first note in that second beat. Then we go to the G chord and we finger that with our index finger on the 1st fret 3rd string, middle finger on the 5th string 2nd fret, and the pinky on the 4th string 3rd fret. So that was the 3rd and the 4th bar. One more time. Slide into the 2nd fret 5th string. And we're keeping our pinky on that 3rd string, that 3rd fret 4th string, because from below the up picking, you see, by the way, very small trees. I mean the number 3 in the 4th bar. So I'm picking up that, for example, the first beat, the 2nd note. You hear the 3rd string, but also slightly that 4th string when you pick up. And that slide starts only in the 2nd beat. When you pick that temp, it slides up, so like that. And again you have that triplet at the end. This is played by the temp. Alright, then we have the 5th and the 6th bar. Now, and this goes for the whole song. Every time when you see on the 1st string the number 4, I think I'm more likely to play 3.5 because it sounds much bluesier. And if you listen to the recordings of, for example, Blind Willie Johnson, well, he was blind, he couldn't see if he was really above the 4th fret or exactly above the 12th fret iron. So he just did what was the most pleasing to his ears. And on his recordings it's very clear that he plays more the 3.5 fret than the 4. This is the 4 and this is 3.5. So when I play those fills, I play 3.5, 3.5, and then when I go back, I might start to give it a little variation from the 4th fret. Now, in that 6th bar, the first beat, the 2nd note, I'm picking that with my index finger. Although it seems like, hey, it's a bass string, you should play it with a temp. No, it's easier. Same for the 3rd beat. And again with the temp, that triplet. And then we have the 7th and 8th bar. Okay, there were not really difficulties because it was the same as in the introduction, those bars. And I will play now again, but sing it softly, because while placing where I've placed in the tab where some keywords of the lyrics, and so you know where to start singing. So I'm going to do one more time with the verse singing it. I've been misled. Rocks was my pillow, stones was my bed. all my heart traveling. Things is bout coming my way. Okay, at the bottom of the page you see an alternate, and that's the one I mostly use because I think it sounds a little bit better, for bar 7, where we sing things is bout coming my way. It's a bit more difficult because it has those downwards with the nails strums, so I'll play it again without singing now. One more time. Things is bout coming my way. Okay, that's it for the first verse and the introduction. I hope you'll have fun with this.